chat, people. Welcome to YARDCHAT. This afternoon. And people, all week I've been telling people all the platforms that we're going to be live doing this show. I think that's a big issue right now. In Europe, not just in the United States. People, especially on Staten Island, it's a big issue. I want everyone to introduce themselves onto the panel. Welcome to YARDCHAT, welcome to live. This is my first time streaming, so we're going to see how it goes, guys. So welcome to the live, guys. Welcome to introduce yourself. It's a pleasure to introduce yourself. Okay.
Hey, I'm right here. I'm sorry, say that again?
Hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Yes,
I can hear you.
From Brooklyn. I know Miss B from social media. I know she's a social media influencer also, but also anyone here. All right? Been on the show before. We spoke about the P. Diddy situation last. So, not new. And we have Zuckerberg for a minute around the day. My mom, already years. And we have my daughter, Empress, in the building. And we have Mr. Pitt in the building. One person left. I don't know what happened. I am okay. All right.
Peace, y'all.
You can hear me in the back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I hear you. The background music is a little loud, as somebody stated earlier. But I'm hearing
it's real loud.
Connection. Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me? You just hear me?
Yep. Yeah, I think we can hear you. I mean, I don't hear the music anymore.
All right, that's a lot better now.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
All
Because
right,
for
you
the
hear me now?
audience,
Sorry about that, man.
there we go.
So, Mr. Fifth, welcome to the podcast. This is your first time coming on the platform. Thank you very much. Also, Mr. Fifth, we're doing some things over on TikTok every Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. What, 1 p.m. So
Yep,
I am from Staten Island. I know you from Manners and Respect, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Indeed.
Manners and Respect. So, man, welcome to the platform. I know this is your first time coming to the platform, right?
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming in. So,
yeah.
Before we, you have anything to say, or?
Well, I'm very appreciative for being extended the opportunity to join in the conversation. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, guys. I know this is the first time. This is the first time for everything, and things happen, things don't work according to some time, but it is. That's why this podcast, I keep it real. So I'm going to add something to the stage right now. This is, the issue right now that we deal with mental illness in, the percentage of the status of the mental illness in especially in the New York area. But overall, in the United States, it's a lot of people who are approximately 23% of United States adults, over 60 million people live with a mental health condition. And that's a lot of, percentage. So 23%. So anyone could join in the conversation, I don't want this to feel like an awkward conversation. I know it's the first one. We got to flow. We want it to flow. I don't want it to be like intense. You know what I mean? Nothing is perfect. So, and I keep it real. My audience know how I flow on this platform. They know. So, Miss B, start with you. Anyone want to join in? Miss B, anyone?
Yeah, I could join in. I work in a school, so I see a lot of mentally ill. It's a population that's grown. The mentally ill population that's grown to a tremendous levels. Because even when we were growing up, we didn't see it like this. This is to a point where every time you go in public, you go, let's say you're traveling on the subway station, you're going to the subway, or you're going on you're traveling anywhere, and then you get out of your car, whether you're in your car, you're getting out in a public place, you are going to encounter mental illness, even if your kids are traveling on their own. Like my daughter recently just witnessed somebody mentally ill, talking just crazy, and just talking very, very, she was startled by it, because we got to school our kids about it too, because that's what we're facing. That's what we're dealing with when you deal with the public, and even in your own family, there's people that something happened, and if something happened, that trigger off. We can all of us are not exempt. We can all experience mental illness, experience it. We're not exempt, because any dramatic situation happens in your family or anything, or you lost a loved one, it could trigger off. Anything could trigger off mental illness. Anything, and it's scary. It's the truth. Very little, even but let's say you could go, something happened in your family, or something, or you lost someone, a loved one that's close to you, that can trigger off a mental illness in you. So it's something that it needs to be talked about. That's not really talked about as much. People sometimes they want to talk about other things. They don't really address it. And I'm gonna say this too, because I was watching a while ago. This was last year. I was watching the Tyler Perry film Straw, and it was called Straw. And who was the star of it? Taraji P. Henson was a star of Straw. And all this time I'm watching this movie, I didn't know that it dealt with serious mental illness, because in this film, I don't know whoever watched it, Straw, Taraji P. Henson is dealing with the loss of her daughter, but the whole time she was trying to get medication to bring it. The daughter was gone. The daughter is no longer here with her, but the whole time she was trying to get medication to bring to her daughter in school. But may I remind you that the daughter is no longer with her. But she was trying to get medication. She went to the bank to draw some money to get her paycheck, but she's going through some tough times even with her employment, because imagine just when you're making money, your money's not enough. Sometimes a lot of us are not making enough money to even survive with the expenses and cost of living. So the movie portrayed that. But also she was trying to get money from the bank. So and she didn't have her ID with her. So the bank, the person behind the bank teller was trying to say, listen, you have to have ID. You have the ID in order for you to withdraw some money. But that just switched. She just flipped, and she just lost her mind, and she wind up pulling out and holding up everybody in the bank. And because she didn't get this medication to bring to her daughter that's not even there. So mental illness is a situation, even when you lose a loved one, it can affect you in a major way. It's nothing to ignore. And it can happen to, the scary thing, it can happen to any one of us. And that's mental illness. Yeah. And so when you get a chance, check that movie out. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It's called Straw, and Taraji P. Henson is the star of that movie, and also it's by Tyler Perry. Because let's face it, it's everywhere. It's nothing to ignore no more. Yeah.
So, so I'm going to add to that really quickly. Hi, everyone. I'm B. I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for 20 plus years. And there's mental illness. Is that's such a broad blanketed statement, right? I can't really see the thing that was posted.
Let me
Um,
see.
approximately, okay, I'm zooming in, approximately 23% of US adults over 60 million people live with okay, so when we talk about mental illness, there's so many layers and levels to it. First, you have mental illness that is acquired by birth. You're born with a form of a mental illness. There's mental illness that develops through trauma. There's mental illness that is environmentally inspired. There's all types of mental illness. I went to a talk at the Brooklyn Book Festival, and one of the philosophers said it well. We are living in a mentally ill society. And what does that mean? That means that either mental illness is brought on through situations, circumstances, environmental living, or it's brought on through poor health, it's brought on through trauma. So it's a blanketed statement to say yes, this, that, whatever. But the biggest problem we're facing as a society is not having the tools to recognize and identify what type of mental illness someone's dealing with. Because in some cases, depression can be short term. Depression can be long term. What are the triggers for your depression? Are we talking about schizophrenia? Are we talking about ADHD? Are we talking about autism? So the correct thing is to first understand what type of mental illness are we talking about, and why and where and when to treat it. A lot of times when you come from a Caribbean or a African household and you say you're depressed, they're going to tell you move on, get over it. Meanwhile, they're exhibiting your parents, your older parents are exhibiting depression, things of depression, things of mental illness. So I think the broader scope is that we don't have the tools to identify what type of mental illness someone's dealing with and how it came about.
Yeah, because we know something happened this week in Queens. We had a mental illness person, and the police, they called the police, and he survived, but police, they're not trained how to deal with that, and that's a different, because the person was diagnosed with being a schizophrenia. So, and coming at the police officer with a weapon.
Yeah, but that goes into a broader aspect of mental illness, right? It goes into poor policing. Police officers have tasers, police officers have batons, but again, in this country, we are a country of violence. So someone coming after you with a knife or a spoon cannot harm 20 officers. We have poor policing as a country. And outside of that, I was thinking about the story in Brooklyn where a man he beat his 2-year-old son, and 2 days later, the 2-year-old son passed away, and he was struggling with mental illness. In addition to that, last year in the Bronx, a dad threw his 2-year-old over the Bronx River. He was also dealing with mental illness. And something that we see often is the factors of, again, society, your ecosystem, your race plays a big role into how you manage your mental illness. I noticed that a lot of Black people, Caribbean, Black Americans, Nigerians, whatever, Africans, they will fight tooth and nail before they take a pill or before they go to any form of psychiatry, versus our counterparts, our Caucasian counterparts. So many Caucasian moms are on Ritalin, or they're on, I forgot the name of the other drug that is very popular with moms, but it's an anxiety drug.
There's another one, yeah.
Right. It's an anxiety drug. So yes, there's layers again, even within our society. Our police officers do not have the skill set to even properly manage a community, less alone someone who is having a mental illness episode.
You bring us some very good points, especially in regards to the law enforcement not being equipped to talk someone down off the ledge, right? Now, I wonder, it's a point you brought before about not having the tools? Is it that we don't have the tools, or that we don't have access to the tools because of the neighborhoods we grew up in? And something else that stood out to me is about psychiatry and medicine. So because I went to the doctor recently and they told me that I may be allergic to the dust in the air, right? They prescribed something to me to take, and it has all these side effects. So I'm wondering, like, for myself, if something's going to make me suicidal, I might pass on taking that for allergies. I'd rather have a stuffy nose. So I'm wondering if that can be an issue with some people not wanting to take things that can possibly have an adverse, reaction for them.
Yeah, I agree with adverse reactions, but in addition to that, we have a society as a societal level, we're illiterate. People are just illiterate with reading, and then within that, there's illiteracy on health, illiteracy on finances. So a lot of times people will say the adverse reaction, but it's also your duty to talk to your doctor about the options. And I say this because I'm a big health advocate. I worked in healthcare alongside doing journalism for many years, and people just go in and they don't ask questions. What are the alternatives? What else can I do? What else can I take? What else like, and that just comes from general illiteracy, right? We don't ask questions, we don't think, we don't ponder, we don't look at options. Oh, the doctor said I should do this, so I'm gonna take it because, well, that's not the only drug, right? There's
Right.
so
And
many
I
drugs
get
that
you,
treat
yes.
multiple types of things. So maybe that is not the drug for you. For myself, I was actually thinking about this. Every time I get COVID, or every time I get COVID, zinc and amoxicillin works for me. Like 2 days, I'm out of whatever it is. But if you tell a medical professional that, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's not that's not what research says." I don't care what
Yes.
research says. I know it works for me. So, but because I'm literate and I read, and I don't just read, regular stuff. I read health stuff. I can articulate that to my medical provider. Many people can't even articulate how they're correctly feeling because of
Mm.
illiteracy.
And you believe that contribute to mental illness as well, right, Miss B?
I don't think that illiteracy contributes to mental illness. I think mental illness contributes to illiteracy. The lack and the lack of wanting to do more because you're depressed and you don't know you're depressed. So now you're not moving forward. So I think it is flipped on that side, that you're
Mhm.
dealing with something that you don't have the words for. And listen, I'm going to tell you this. I didn't become a mental health advocate until my late 30s. I was in grad school and I just couldn't finish stuff. And I was like, something is wrong. And I realized that I had ADHD, and I got myself diagnosed. And I remember reading a book about ADHD and I was like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. But
Mm.
I say that to say that was in my 30s. If I had the tools that I have now and someone recognized, oh, my daughter's room is messy. I remember seeing something really quick, you guys, real quick. There was a Jamaican person on TikTok, and she was just screaming at her, your room dirty, dirty, dirty. And the daughter's like, I can't do it. I can't clean my house for nothing. Like, I'm not, and when I say clean, I don't mean as in like, soap and organization. And that's how I got ticked off that I had ADHD. I was reading this book about a woman. She graduated Harvard. She had all these degrees, and she could not keep her car and apartment organized. And I was like, I felt like it was directly talking to me. So what I'm saying is we don't even have the tools to identify, oh, my daughter is messy. It may be from executive dysfunction. We don't even have those tools. So illiteracy stems from not being treated correctly for whatever you're really dealing with.
Anyone have anything to share on that?
Yes, the reason why some people are afraid to take medication because you know what it is, why Caribbean people and why certain black people are afraid to take it, because I'll tell you why. A lot of us are scared of side effects because there's people that take medications and then all of a sudden now they gain like 100 pounds. All of a sudden now they're drooling every time they talk. So it's a lot of people that are afraid of taking these medications because of these side effects. What do you say to that? Because I've spoken to people that say I've spoken to many people that say, listen, my daughter got, she got the this, she got the that, and she's schizophrenic, or she's delusional, or something is happening with her, and I'm afraid to give her medication because of the side effects. They always say side effects because of, and I seen that firsthand years ago when someone said it put their kid on the medication because I maybe can't say it online, but person was slicing themselves, right? And they was like, oh, well, if I put her on medication, her husband stopped her and said, don't do it, because, and they did it. They did it anyway. And she went from she's gained so much, this person, you don't even recognize her no more because of the weight she's gained. What do you say to that?
So I say that it's, again, a lack of basic, health intelligence. You have to track everything you do. So because I'm a health advocate, when I take a medicine and I feel weird or off, I go back to the provider and we find the right fit. If the medication's making you gain weight, that's probably too high of a dose. You have to constantly communicate with your provider of what's working and not what's working. And a lot of times too, for example, some medications, grapefruit juice will cancel the medication. Maybe
Yeah.
you're taking things that are canceling the medication, but if you don't write down, okay, I feel this way, I'm this way. Perfect example. I was taking a pill and I was getting it from my local pharmacy, and then I picked up a supply and I started having body odor. Right? I'm giving y'all a lot of my personal business. I called my pharmacy because I know a lot of our medications come from India. I called my pharmacist, and and this is a call your pharmacist. Every healthcare has a free pharmacy line. Call the pharmacist. Tell the pharmacist what you're experiencing. So this is about 12 years ago. I called the pharmacist and said, look, did you change or something happened? Because she was like, yeah, we got a new distributor. A lot of times, manufacturers, they don't make every drug the same. And you can ask your pharmacist, did you change the manufacturer? Those little things are impacting your health. So every time I would get this medication, there was a little line that says only get from blah, blah, blah manufacturer. It's not like we have to break the mindset of, oh, I went to the doctor said do this stuff. No, doctors are practicing. They're practicing on you, they practicing on me. Right? So you have to now go back to the doctor, the pharmacist, and say, this is not working. And they will help you to find the right dose,
Right.
the right everything for
Yeah.
you. But we just take stuff and that himself, he don't know how you feeling. You're one of 1,000
Yeah.
people rolling through those doors.
And
Let me
here's
say
another
something.
thing.
Go ahead.
Here's another thing. These doctors won't tell you to take time to go out and walk in nature, which is known to decrease the heart, if you're having some type of anxiety or depression, that's going to slow it down. A lot of times we're in this artificial light, not getting direct sunlight, especially in the wintertime, right? There's something else in regards to treatment, right? Psilocybin. I'm not sure if anybody has taken or is familiar with the John Hopkins medicine study, where research indicated that a rapid and long-lasting antidepressant effects, but people are only into something they can get in a pill form, right?
Yeah.
There are other ways that people can get mentally well. Meditation is one. My sister's a yoga practitioner that operates in Jamaica. Sometimes she comes to the States and does personal in-house sessions, but she's also on the path of naturopathy. So there are options. And I think that's what the sister is pointing out, is that, you can't just go from what they say initially. You have to see what works for you. Sometimes it might be a pill because the natural way can work for somebody, but then for somebody else, it's just not the results that they're seeking. Maybe they are looking for something quick, like they want to pop that pill and be done with it right away. Whereas somebody else can sit down and just go for that stillness within and are able to achieve that wellness that we're talking about in regards to mental illness. And it's not a one size fit all, because as the sister stated, there are different types of mental illness.
Yeah.
But I think
Go ahead.
really
Go ahead,
quickly.
Mr.
So, I completely agree. But that comes back to health literacy, right? Every health provider has yoga classes, this classes. Okay, first of all, let me just back that up. New York City has a program called Shape Up, where you can go to recreational centers and get free courses in exercise, meditation. I used to go to Far Rockaway on the beach and meditate for free through something called Shape Up through the city. But because we lack health literacy, we only look at that one path. And I understand that some doctors my doctor always tells me to run, walk, whatever, but you have to look at yourself. Everything he just described is looking at yourself from a whole picture, right? My mind's not right. Let me start to work through those thoughts, because what you think
All right.
determines what you
I have to
feel,
get
and
off
what you
now.
feel determines what you will
I'll
do.
catch you later, though.
Bye. Talk to you later too.
Later.
Later. I'm just joking, y'all. So anyway, so what you think affects how you feel, and that's a wholeness. He's talking about one of the most amazing things that you can do for yourself is looking at the whole person. And that comes from a lack of health literacy.
Let's get into, I have a video I'm going to share with you guys. But you can't hear. Hold on, Beyond. Do you have unmute? Unmute yourself. I see you in the chat. Also, I'm going to show a video. I want us to get into the part of the serious side of mental health, where people are endangering themselves, endangering others, where people are self-harming themselves. That is where we're at. I'm going to share a video with you guys, and let me just pull that up and get into the seriousness of this, and let me just share my screen, guys. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, this is my first time, bear with me, guys. This is my first show doing all of this. So we're going to share this video with this young lady, this young girl that battled mental illness for years. Tara Spalding, people.
Oh, yes. I did a video on her. Yes.
I do nothing.
Yes, I remember. Oh, yes.
I am going to die, guys.
A troubling clip from a 21-minute YouTube video posted on September 4, 2025 by Tyra Spalding, a contestant in the 2023 Miss Universe Jamaica pageant. The video continues.
Every day I get up, my mind tells me to go and jump off a building. It tells me to go and overdose on pills. It tells me to go and hang myself. I am fighting for my life.
Miss Spalding's body was reportedly found by relatives Tuesday night with a curtain.
I'm not going to, we're not going to, so.
Yes.
Just sharing that video. Just sharing that video right there. It don't get no realer than that.
Yes.
It doesn't get any realer than that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because this young lady lost the battle.
Yes, absolutely.
Because of voices. And she said it's a battle every day she get up. Which voice going to win? Some days she says good, but that particular day, share your thoughts, guys. Share your thoughts. Welcome to the live, guys. Welcome to the live. Thank everyone for coming in.
Hey, real quick, Mr. Yard.
Yeah.
Now, you know me. I have a producer's mentality because, I do shows too. I want to inform you of something. Are you able to see the YouTube playback of the stream?
I could go on YouTube Studio if I want to do anything YouTube. I could flow between both.
No, I'm saying, are you able to see it? Because what's going on, the bottom is blocking a portion. If you're able to see it.
Area?
Yeah. So what it's doing is it's making our boxes extremely small. Yeah.
Let me see if I could get out of that. Go ahead, guys. I'm fixing it. Continue conversation. Don't stop and wait. Just continue
Yeah,
I would
conversation.
like to say something.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I seen that video of her. Yeah, like you said, unfortunately, she lost the
I
battle.
can't hear anybody. I don't know why.
I think for her case, I think what she had depression and schizophrenia, which is a whole nother type of mental illness, so to
Yeah,
say. Because like there, like
yeah.
y'all was saying before, there are many levels to it. And unfortunately for that one, it's like extreme. Like that can't just be talk therapy. That people who are like labeled schizophrenic have to be on some kind of medication to keep the voices down. But I also feel like we don't know what she been through in her life for that door to be open. Like because like Miss B
True.
was saying, trauma, whatever it could be anything that could trigger someone's mind to go there. You know, um, I just feel like people don't deal with the root causes. They just pacify stuff or just act like it didn't happen or just ignore it until it gets to a point where you can't ignore it anymore. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
Is that much better now?
Much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to add one second. Where is our Beyond? He's still there?
I had Beyond a refresh because he's having an issue with the audio. So as soon as he refreshes, he
He's the
should be
link.
able
Tell
to
him just go
connect
back in the
me up.
link. Just go back in the link. The link is there. So guys, come on, share your opinion on this because like I said, that
Yes.
yeah, we gotta get more, yeah.
Yeah, I want to share something on it. I seen that video as well, and I learned it doesn't. She was battling. She was crying out for help. She went on there, and to me, she was as I was like a screaming out loud help. And unfortunately, nobody could have get to her on time to get to help her to the resources that she needed to help her. And it was just too late, just too late. And didn't matter what she had. She was a beauty pageant winner. Didn't matter what she had. It's just the mind and whatever battles inner battle she was facing. She couldn't beat it. She couldn't beat it. And the truth of the matter is, it's signs that we gotta see. I'm trying to bring home signs that we gotta see. If somebody is battling, saying they're crying out for help, they're talking to themselves, they're talking about outing themselves and all this stuff. She's talking about it, and she was crying out loud for help, and nobody at that moment at that time could have reached her. I felt that somebody possibly or some kind of resource could have get to her, but it's just unfortunately was a sad ending for her. And I think we got to pay attention to our kids, pay attention to certain things, pay attention to certain signs, see something, say something. We gotta start paying just being a little bit more paying a little bit more attention to our community, especially with her. That young lady didn't have to go out like that. It was so sad. She was right in Jamaica. And I know sometimes people look at a situation, they're like, oh, she'll get over it. Oh, she's just going through things. You go through your daily life. But you go through your daily life, but that was somebody's sister, that was somebody's cousin, and she just took herself out just like that. And it was sad to look at that. Really sad to look at, because I looked at that video and I actually did a video on that situation. And it's just a matter of moment and time and where you could have possibly somebody could have get to her to stop her from that, but it was just too late. I think she was alone. And most of those times when people are facing those things, that they withdraw from their surroundings. They withdraw from people, and sometimes you gotta pay attention to that. A person that's always vibrant, all of a sudden now they withdraw. There's a strong withdrawal. They're in a room by themselves and the lights are off. They're not calling. When you call them, they're not returning back your calls. They're not responding to your text. All these things are a huge withdrawal. And I felt that maybe if somebody who had the right resources there at that moment, that time, her life could have been saved at that time.
What
Mic check.
about also? Okay,
Can you hear me?
let's keep it real, because there's a lot of things in the old time tradition where it traumatized some of these kids. Because don't forget, mental illness also could, is traumatized too. You understand? And that, especially if they have mental illness and they've been traumatized, they're getting both, dosage. But there's a lot of things in Jamaica where parents used to do these things, and I saw a video where this lady literally putting her knee, her foot on this young girl, her daughter neck, and stomping her. And the man said, "Man, you're going to kill her. I'm going to show this to your pastor. I'm going to tell her what you're doing. You're going to kill her." You understand what I'm saying? So there's a pattern have to be broken, especially in our community, where some of these behaviors that was taught to us wasn't right. Not all traditional good. Some of these kids and grow up doing the same thing, pattern, traumatizing kids. See, the mother's traumatized, the daughter's traumatized, no, the granddaughter traumatized, 4th-generation is traumatized. And now it is so, the mental illness is so strong inside. Now this is how bad it is. I see people eating out the garbage can. I see people walking down Victory Boulevard naked. I see people literally going to garbage can and eating, drinking anything. And these people, what made them come to that point? What made forget about society? I don't want it. And some of them are mental ill, but some of them, their stories. There was one particular girl, I did her name, I forgot her name, Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something happened to her, and she said ever since that day, she was never the same no more. Something in a pool, and I kind of put 1 and 1, 2 together, and she said something. She said I was never the same again. I said, "Well, you hit your head. I'm trying to get." No, she said no, and I have a feeling what happened. She said I was never the same no more, and she just wind up having mental issues.
Wow. Something dramatically happened. Yeah.
Beyond, welcome to the live. Can you hear me, Beyond?
Yeah, I hear you guys.
What do you think about the live, man? This is our first live. Welcome, Beyond people. Beyond is from TikTok. He's one of our people over there, TikTok. And it's rarely when you see Miss B's on TikTok, but it's very rare when you see a TikToker cross over to YouTube. You know what I mean? It's very rare. So we
rare.
do
Yeah.
work. So how you feeling, man? Welcome to the live.
I'm feeling pretty good, happy to be here. Happy that you and Fifth invited me. Looking forward to a good conversation,
Yeah, man. So so Mr. Fifth, how you doing, Mr. Fifth? You quiet over there. I'm not hearing you say anything, Mr. Fifth. What's going on, brother?
So no, I'm just kind of waiting my turn, but you know me, brother. I'm a producer too, so I'm kind of like looking out for the stream and just making sure things are good on your on the audience end. And just from I have so much of an engineer's mindset, so but I've been listening to everything. But here's the thing: I'm no expert on mental illness, so I won't speak as one. But I will say this. But I don't want to change the conversation or the direction. So if you have like a particular question, because I kind of want to go to the relationship standpoint, I think that will change the conversation. So I don't want to do that if you don't. I'm just a guest here. I'm always a host when we work together, but I'm a guest today.
Yeah, I understand. But what you're saying, it's an open panel, because it's a discussion where everyone's going to share their point of view, their theory, but they have to stay in this journey of mental illness. Relationship affect mental illness as well. Marriage, it affect everything. The mental stage affect everything. That's you. So the question is, how you feel about the mental illness? Different, like Ms. B said, there's different level, different stage of mental illness. You know what I mean? So how do you feel over in general mental illness?
Okay, so And like I said, I'm trying to obey the rules. So, mental illness, I take in consideration drugs too. Hard drugs trigger mental illness. So I'm from Staten Island as well. I live in Houston, but I'm from Staten Island, right? My family grew up around Jersey Street. You familiar with that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so we've seen people on heroin, and it looked like mental illness, right? But they were perfectly fine, unless you could think they were perfectly fine, right? And then they were taking oh, I don't even know if can I say that on YouTube? I just realized.
Yeah, you can say that on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah. But you know me, I know YouTube rules as well. So they were on, hard substances. I'll say that. And those substances, they seem like they're perfectly normal. Then all of a sudden they get hooked on these substances, and then now everything is just their brains are cooked. Now, Zacchaeus, there's a man popular on Jersey Street that me and you both know. He rides a bicycle. And he has a very bad problem. Yeah. We won't say his name, but he rides a bike up and down Jersey Street and Brook Street and all that, right? He's never been the same again. And people would look at him and say, "Oh, well, he's mentally ill." He can be, but we all know what triggered that. And so we have to keep in mind that substance abuse can also trigger a mental illness. Sexual promiscuity can also trigger a mental illness.
All of that.
I know I can't see people's names because for some reason nobody's names is showing up on here. But for the sister with the glasses, what's your name? I'm sorry.
My name's not showing.
It's all good. My name is B, and you're so right. But yes, it's B. You just call me B.
Okay, B. You mentioned traumatic you mentioned traumatic situations. You mentioned a lot of situations that definitely make sense. I would say that there's a lot of post-traumatic stuff. Let's talk about the Black community right as a whole. Foundational Black Americans, Caribbean Black Americans, South America, all of that, right? A lot of us are descendants of slaves, right? Okay, maybe not everyone, but a lot of us are. And post-traumatic slave syndrome is something that is passed down generations, right? And so there's a lot of things that trigger us in this current generation that we haven't experienced, but our ancestors have. And there's a lot of us in many situations and avenues that are either not diagnosed or misdiagnosed. And one of the things that happens in the mental the therapy field, right, is that what they will do. Oh, where everybody go?
Sorry, I'm there. I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm here. Keep talking. Keep going. I'm listening.
I'm trying to work behind the scene here. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Keep talking, guys.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry.
So
talking.
There's a I pray for Black women specifically, right? Because I'm not anti-therapy, but one of the things that they're doing with our sisters is that you go in there, you discuss a problem, and the first thing a doctor wants to do is throw a pill at it. And a lot of sisters, a lot of women, a lot of Black women are misdiagnosed. There's a stat, and it says that more women are on psych meds than men in America.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And so now let's get into the context, because context matters here, right? The context is that a lot of men, sadly, would delete themselves before they take proper care, right? Okay.
Real quick. I'm so sorry. That's the highest number of death of white men in the UK. Keep going.
Yes. And so women, and Black women specifically, the idea is we can fix you we'll just give you a pill. You know how many women are getting the wrong pills? And then now they got to get another pill because of what the first pill did to them.
Facts. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Facts.
there's also a scam and a scheme that's also caught up in the mental illness arena, mental health arena. And you know, I feel like you know, there's a lot of things that we need to research and get a hold of, and we have to be very careful and very mindful. And we gotta have family that really cares about us, because a lot of times, a lot of us are alone when we go seek a lot of this care. We don't have families, you know, that are
supporting,
that are proxies, that are making sure that the care that we're getting is the proper care. You know what I'm saying? You also see it in the old folks' home. I'm a little long-winded. I'm not trying to be, but you see it in the hospitals. You see it in the old folks' homes and stuff like that. They're not getting the proper care. You know what I'm saying? On a mental health level, you know, a physical level, yes, but also on a mental health level. And there's a lot of things to digest, you know. And so one of the things that I'm also seeing is that there's a vulnerability, and you know, there's a lot of post-traumatic stuff. There's so much stuff going on in the field. But I'm gonna land my plane because there's another point that I want to get to specifically, but I want to let everyone talk, and I want to hear what Beyonda got to say because he's been waiting to get on. I'm mute.
Just before Beyonda gets on, you guys, it was such a wonderful show. I do have to go at 3. I had a hard stop, but it was so great talking with everyone. Y'all be blessed, and I look forward to the next conversation. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Bless you as well.
You know, I'll get with you. You know, I'll keep in touch.
Later.
Okay, all right. Bye, blessings.
All right. A couple
All
other
right,
people
so the
supposed to be
topic.
coming on, but a couple other people supposed to be coming on. So I don't know if they're on as yet. I don't see anyone in the queue. So Beyonda, go ahead, man. Beyonda, welcome. Beyonda, welcome.
Yeah, so the topic of this, whole thing is mental health, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know even where to start. I can start with myself and kind of explain, how my perspective has changed over the past 5 years or so. So when I was, like early 20s, I'm 28 now, early 20s, I dealt with anxiety, depression, I dealt with a lot of things, and that was because of what I went through as a child. I went through a lot of how do you say it? Sexual immorality things that happened when I was younger, like from the age of like 12, and then I got addicted to corn at a really young age and whatnot. So that has definitely played a part in my mental health. Uh, but I had to make a decision because I realized that I wasn't getting nowhere in life by having the mindset of, oh, woe is me. Because at the end of the day, I have free will. I'm a grown man now. I can't make excuses for, me making bad decisions. So when I met my fiance, I had to decide to really put things in perspective and put things in priority. And I still have battles with my mental health. Don't get me wrong. I'm a human being just like you guys are, or like everyone else is in the world. But I had to sort of, and also, also understand that, it was Jesus that brought me back. Jesus, I didn't really have a close relationship with Jesus until I met my fiance. And, it was through Jesus that my mental health started to become more clear. I don't have to deal with anxiety as much or depression and whatnot. So I feel like, when we're talking about mental health as a whole, a lot of people who go through these things, they don't seek Jesus. Jesus is the only cure to any problem, mental health, physical health, whatever, spiritual health. So I feel like a lot of it is, you know, people are missing the key ingredient. People go to the doctor to get a pill, or they go to therapy, which you can go to therapy, that's fine. But, they try to get around the cure, which is Jesus, and you can't take shortcuts around this. He's the only way to heaven, and he's the only way to actual peace and joy. And so until people start to realize that, they're never going to have true peace or true joy, because they're going to keep falling back on their substance abuse, their old habits, And that's my opinion on that.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a Go ahead.
I want to tell a story. But first, before I tell a story, I want to say because a lot of people like go to therapy, and talk therapy is not enough because mental illness through trauma does not. You can't just talk about it because sometimes, especially for Black women, it gets stored in the body, and that's why Black women is having a lot of like chronic illnesses like lupus, fibromyalgia because of the stress and trauma that's been stored in their body. So talk therapy is not enough, right? There's another mental illness that nobody really talks about, and I don't want to sound controversy, but I had a friend that I recently had to cut off because she was raised in a particular church who, let's just say, used their status to inflict certain things on the people that was going to the church, right? And so, with that being said, it caused her to have mental issues as far as multiple personality disorder, um, and the list goes on, and depression, and the list goes on. And so I had to cut her off because well, I see a lot of people who is diagnosed with mental illness. They don't view as it's something that they dealing with. Sometimes they identify with the illness itself. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's so weird. So I had to cut her off for that because it made like our friendship become weird because now you cannot tell this person anything because they're like, well, who are you to say anything? This is me. And it's just like, no, you are you. And you're dealing with this issue. You're not this issue. I don't know if anyone like ever seen that before where a person will literally identify as the mental illness as one. They don't see themselves separate in some weird way. But that's all I wanted to say.
How about anyone think mental illness is spiritually as well behind it? Anything significant behind mental illness?
Absolutely. Zacchaeus, go ahead. We talked about this.
Yeah. You say so when it comes to the spiritual realm. Yeah. When you there's a lot. You see what triggers off mental illness too as well. Like what Fifth mentioned earlier. Habits, addictions, right? Habits and addictions. And when you overly, like for example, drink, overly just live for pleasures and just dabble in all types of substance abuse and just hang around people that just live for pleasures, it does play a major role in your decision making. It plays a major role in how you live, your integrity, and all of that. It affects all of that. So, and then when you see things falling apart because you're so addicted to the substance, it does trigger off mental illness. Now, what's the solution to that? When you commit yourself to the Lord, and when you ask God to, and you live through the principles of the Word of God, and you just engulf yourself with the Word, God can help you from that. God can deter you, can take away, can pull you away from people that are distracting you from your goals, distracting you, and you won't have no desire. Because once you put things in priority, put God first, you have no desires to dabble in substance abuse. You have no desire to have a good time, to get drunk just to have a good time. You have no desire. Your desires change. Your direction change. Your circle change. Because let's keep it real. Whoever you hang out with could affect your life in a major way. Whoever you surround yourself with could affect your life in a major way. So mental illness have different avenues that can because I know I've heard of people just drinking and the decision making is totally off. It affects your whole family. It affects your kids. Your kids see you differently. You're not the same person anymore. You're different. And when you allow addictions and strongholds to get the best of you, you're not even the same person anymore. And you see it when people you see ever met people. And I met people like that. You meet them and they're so addicted to their substance abuse, so addicted to it that you don't even know them no more. They start stealing from you. They start getting desperate. They start doing things that you won't even think that they do. They start doing it. And you're like, you say you gotta cut, like what Empress said, you gotta cut them off because they're not the same person like you once knew before. They're not the same person. They're not the same people that you knew before. They're different. And before they affect your life and destroy your life, or they could be your own demise, you might as well keep your distance because once your piece is tampered with and they destroy your life, that's it. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. So certain people you just have to that that allow they don't see no, and especially the person that's taking substance abuse, they don't see themselves as wrong. They don't see themselves that they didn't, especially if they don't see themselves that they need help. And once you say that I don't need help, I'm okay to find the way I am. You gotta distance yourself and pray for them. You can love them, but pray for them from a distance. Because once they come into your life and affect your life, that's it's a wrap. They bring, in other words, they bring drama to your door. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
yeah. I also believe that also people could be influenced by demonic spirit. Also, people could be possessed. People open doors, spiritual doors. People open up a lot of different things and think what they're doing is good. And let me tell you what open doors. Tarot cards open doors. Black magic open doors. Orbia, Santa
Hello,
Maria,
Santa
um,
Maria. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
we call it Nancy, tarot
Psychic.
cards, palm reading, psychic.
Yeah.
All of those things open doors, and those things come with attachments. And sometimes when you look at a person's life, you have to see why it's like that. You have to take a deep dive. Let me see what's going on because you don't know when God is dealing with some of these people because you don't know their past background. You don't know. But God is a forgiving God, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be dealt with for what you was indulging. I
Yeah.
mean, because you listen. I see people do rituals. Ritual is working black magic too. Because you bring an entity in people's lives that they don't have, especially kids. It's real talk. A lot of people don't speak about stuff like that on YouTube, but it's real. You don't have to go to Haiti to see all of that. It's right here in America. White science is in America. Witchcraft, everything is here. There's no, and a lot of people are being controlled because they open doors. And when you open doors, they come with legions. You know? Anyone want to
Yeah.
share on that?
I want to say, yeah, people do these things, like, and I know, you spoke. I think I seen a video you talked about those files, and someone sent me something about, like as far as ritualistic abuse. So that goes into what you were saying.
Mm,
Like you'll see people leave a cult and stuff, and they'll tell you
yeah,
the things they've been through, and then they open those doors. They've been traumatized from it, and now they got all type of mental health issues, following things they had no business following.
yeah. I think Beyond is trying to come back in. Is he trying to
Also,
come? Go ahead, Empress.
I think someone said earlier about how the ancestors and stuff. What people don't realize is when we talk about it being passed down, it's not just passed down through behavior, it's literally in the genealogy itself. That's all I want to say.
And so how that came into play? Someone made some type of deal.
Yeah, somebody made some deal, trauma passed down, breeding to the kids going on, and now it's literally in your genetics. So when people say it's hard to break that, yeah. Go ahead, Fifth.
No, it's okay. I didn't want to cut it. I just want to say something real quick. Is anybody familiar with Anton Levy?
Who's it? Anton Levy?
Yeah, Anton Levy is he's I don't think he's alive anymore.
I've heard
it sound familiar. Is it?
Yeah. Anton Levy is, let me make sure I'm saying his name right. I may be saying his name wrong. Anton
Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Anton, I think it's Anton LaVey. There we go. There we go. I got to be careful googling him, but Anton LaVey.
Okay.
He was the founder of the Church of Satanism.
Oh yeah. Now it's coming back.
Since we're on the topic of spiritual warfare and things in the genealogy, before his daughter was even born, he gave her soul up to Satan. So that is an example of basically cursing your bloodline. Cursing your bloodline. So although she wasn't born yet before this happened, she needs to be free. She needs to be free spiritually. That yoke has to be broken.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is an example. I brought him up as a reason because that's what he did, and he's public for doing that. But for those who we don't know who are public for doing that all over the world, that's also an example of how you could destroy your lineage by like Mr. Yard said, doing rituals, selling your soul, putting curses, roots, and all of those things that you could do on your bloodline before your bloodline even touches a foot on the soil. That is an example.
Yeah. Yep.
Also what we got to think about too. There's if you want to get real, there's a lot of like mental. You could get cured from it, man, but it's not on pill because what happened is that pill caused a side effect. Then you got to take another. It's an ongoing cycle. But if you wanted to stop, hear this now. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged from 10 to 24. Condition, anxiety disorder are the most common, impact about 40 million adults. Wow. Less than 1/3 of United States population live in the area with significant healthcare professionals. That means, like Ms. B was saying, the help is not there. Don't get me wrong, it's there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not overall there. Because 65, countries lacking psychiatrists. They're lacking. Over 5 million adults with mental illness, 9.2% were unsecure from 2022 to 23. That's like the latest, I'm sure. Look, hear this now. Here's alarming. 1.5 Americans involuntarily committed to psychiatric facility annually. That's a revolving door. Then he said here, this is the treatment gap they're saying. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. Oh my God. Over 60% of youth with depression do not receive treatment. So when you see all these people running around, the country in general, when you see all these people running around, 60%, that's a lot of percent. So 1 out of 1 American have some issues that they need to take medication for. That's what they're saying, basically.
You know the crazy part? When it comes to mental institutions and stuff back in the day, they was like they was like doing phlebotomy,
They was
you
doing all type
know,
of stuff.
and now they just pushing well, another form of it is just pushing medication. And you right, there is a lot of side effects. It can make it worse. It can make a person turn into a zombie state. Uh, you know, loss of appetite. There's all type of side effects. And so I think going back to what y'all was saying earlier, that's why people, are afraid, and don't want to deal with it. Or we're being taught, oh, you're crazy if you go to a therapist. You're crazy for this. And it's just like the lack
Here,
of spiritual, you know what
mm,
I'm saying, input
yeah.
in it has a lot to do with it too. Because it's not, we're looking at it as just a physical thing, but it's really beyond that. And you would know that if you talk to someone who's like, to anyone who has past ADHD, and you hear them talk and you hear their standpoint, a lot of them do have spiritual beliefs. They just lost into whatever they hearing or feeling.
Here is another alarming. Hmm. Black Americans, oh man, or diagnosis with schizophrenia, schizophrenia at a higher rate. I got to look into that more than white Americans. Young mental health in 2024, 15.4% of youth from the age from 12 to 17 experienced a major depressive episode, a decrease from 18.1% in 2023, yet 2.8 million youth still experience severe depression. The suicide rate is going up. Anxiety disorder are the most common impact about 40 million adults. The percentage are high. It doesn't matter how you look at it. The percentage are so high that, all right, I heard you coming out, the percentage are high. Those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. So what do you guys think of the numbers? Those are the statistics. Those are the numbers that
Very, very, very concerning because it's growing every time.
Um,
Yeah,
you're talking about like the black community itself.
all it break
Oh,
down where it affect the black community, but overall America, we still all in trouble. It doesn't matter race.
right.
Mental illness, it doesn't
Okay.
care about color.
Right. Okay.
But it's still an
Um.
issue among white and black, you know?
Yeah. That is pretty alarming in itself. That's Oof. And when you said 2024, like recently?
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah. Because you see it if you, especially if you work in a school environment. I work in a school environment. You see it. It's happening among young people a
I kind of
lot.
wanted to
Um,
give my insight into something regarding mental health and what I've seen personally.
Go ahead.
Um, I used to work at the hospital. I used to do patient transport. And when you're doing patient transport, you do all kind of, stops, including the behavioral health, people, whether they be 12 years old or 70 years old. And so I used to see a lot of people like, have a lot of problems. And you can't fake that because they're in a behavioral hospital. But then I know someone personally, well, not really personally, but I know of them. She on paper, she is she is mentally like, she has problems mentally, but people have told me, or people have said that she's a lot smarter than she lets on, and she takes advantage of her problems so that she can get by at work or get by in life,
Mm.
you know. And it's really sad because you're talking about people who have actual problems, and then you have this girl who she might have a little bit of problems, but it's not as big as she says it is. She's milking the cow, so to speak. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about people who take advantage of that to get by in life? Have you all seen that before, like personally, or like what are your thoughts on that?
I have seen that. Going
Mm.
back to what I was saying earlier about the friend that I had to cut off. Another reason why I had to make that decision is because she was going through something with this guy she was dating, and she literally told me out her mouth, "Oh, if he ever do something, that she doesn't like, I will unalive him, and I will get away with it because I'm documented crazy." So yeah, I
Mm.
definitely seen that.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh.
What about like we need to speak about, because I believe when people, all these people hearing voices, what about the voices? When people hearing voices, where do you think those voices coming from? Let's talk about voices. Because the first thing is, oh, the voice tell me to do it. Oh, I'm hearing this voice, that voice. Who
Those
are these voices?
I think those are demonic spirits. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you hear talk about people, especially when they hear voices, there was a serial killer years ago in 1978 in Brooklyn, Son of Sam. He heard voices. He heard voices, and that's what made him do what he did. And so I believe that that's a wicked. Those are wicked and demonic spirits. Whatever they was indulging in, and whatever demonic spirit that they have, that's what That's what got it into them. And now the only thing that can deliver them from that demonic spirit is Jesus. So that's the and that's the same thing with the Zodiac killer and certain these serial some of these serial killers is the is they have been hearing they hear things. They be hearing the wicked spirits tell them to do what they do. So yeah, that's definite with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I want to say it's the way I see it is say you have a bowl, right, that's upside down and you poke a bunch of holes in it, right? And it just takes one something to let the air out or in, and it's almost like you open yourself up, like or like a radio frequency. You know what I'm saying? You tuned in to that based based on the attachments you have or whatever. You let that energy in, or that spirit, whatever, you let it in. And what end up happening is over time they break down your reality, so people like that no longer have the ability to differentiate what is real and what is not,
Mm.
and they end up listening to the outside. And I feel like that's where the voices come from. They no longer can hear their own inner voice, they hear everything else.
Yeah. You hear what I am said? He's in the chat. He said, "Can the voice even be from a righteous place? Like when people say God told them to tell this, or when someone does a good deed and they say voice told them to do it." I believe people can hear from voice from God, of course. Listen. You have, like I said, you have two voices in the world. Two voices. One going to tell you to do the right thing, and the other one going to tell you to do another thing. So you have to pay attention to the voices because voices can be deceiving. But you will know the good voice because the good voice going to tell you the good thing to do.
I agree with that because I feel like as human beings, we are, I like to say, we are decision makers, you know, so
Yeah,
we choose what thought we want to indulge in, you know. If I'm uh, at a store and I see an old lady crossing the street, I can either listen to the voice that says to go help her or I just move on with my life, you know. Now, I don't think either one's bad, but, you know, when we're talking about the Holy Spirit, a very powerful entity in itself, you know, it's God's spirit, you know, when we're talking to God every day, we you know, we abide more about what He wants us to do and be more obedient, I guess. And so we're gonna generate more positive thoughts because we're abiding by the fruits of the Holy Spirit. But when we're
mm,
doing the opposite, we'll be more privy to Satan's thoughts or Satan's whispers or demonic whispers, you know? Like the more
yeah.
we ignore the Holy Spirit and the more we, I guess, quench the Holy Spirit, the more easy it is for us to do the bad things because we're not doing the good things, you know?
Yeah, it's the same like if you feed that negative energy, if you feed that energy, eventually, you know. But if listen, you have people have to make choices, man. And some people they say, oh, they're not in a place to make choices. But guess what? Someone made a choice. You know what I mean? And I believe in cause effect. If you do something, positive, negative, something gonna come back. Whatever you put out, something gonna come back. And depends where you go seek to get answers. You know what I mean? The way I look at it, if you seek outside of, or I think we dropped what's the name got dropped. I don't know. His connection is bad. Beyond got dropped.
Hey, Beyonda, if you're still in the chat, you need try your laptop or
Yeah,
computer or
come again.
whatever.
I'm trying to pull him up, but I'm trying to come up. Yeah, I'm trying to pull him up again. Let me see here. Hmm. Oh, okay, I had to okay, he said he have to refresh his browser. Yeah. Man, listen, I got to get used to this thing, but I'm getting ready. Yeah, but you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, man, you got to be careful what you put out. You know what I mean? You got to be careful what you put out because whatever you put out, something gonna come back. And you know, depends on the energy you put out, man. You know, but what about those people hearing voices? I listen, man. I experienced that. I'm not gonna lie. I experienced that years ago, man. And thank God I didn't listen to that voice. Thank God I didn't listen to that voice. Thank God I didn't listen to that voice. You know what I mean? You have to be careful of voices because there's a lot of voices out there. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, like I am saying that, you know, God voices out there too, but there's a lot of voices out there. But I'm not going to listen to a voice. But when you feed that negative vibes, that means you don't have knowledge. And the way you get knowledge, you have to know God for yourself, man. You have to know that voice. And that and even when you know God, that negative voice is going to come to you and say, listen, blah blah blah. But you have to remember what is true, what is right. We can't lose. Listen, when the enemy come to you, man, and that's why I believe a lot of people losing mental health issue because they're weak spiritually. They're weak spiritually. And when you're weak spiritually, anything could affect you because you don't have no defense.
No foundation. Yeah,
Yeah,
no foundation. I know people get mentally ill, but so it's a lot of things can happen, man. Some people lose their job and they get mentally ill. Um, Loss of income, loss of money, and they get mentally ill. A lot of things can
yeah.
trigger it off. Yeah, divorce, uh, and they feel that they lost everything.
What
Um,
about I know there is a scripture, right? Remember, this one I know. There's mental illness is demonic, because remember when as they say, Jesus came across a man, and they said, oh yeah, he's up there, he's possessed, so we had to tie him up there like in the woods or somewhere, and
Legion.
yeah, and he's coming and
Legion.
he's over there cutting up himself, doing all type of things.
Yeah, Legion.
And,
Yeah.
and God said, listen, he said, oh, we know who you are.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? And they said there was legions. Do you know what legion is? Thousands, right?
Yeah. Thousands. Yeah, Legion.
In one person.
All
And
those
that person
things.
was cut himself. They said he was like, I don't know. They said he was the way the word described,
he was cutting himself. He was doing a lot of things that hurting himself. Cutting himself. He couldn't even feel when he was cutting himself. And there were demons inside of him. And you know what happened after the aftermath of when they had those pigs. The pigs, Jesus rebuked them, and all those pigs, all those they flew out. They flew over the cliff. If I remember the story, and they went right into the ocean. Yeah, all those demons had to come out of him.
So legion.
That's interesting, because being that pigs were just brought up. Now, I'll never tell anybody what to eat, but a part of what we consume does play a part in
exactly,
you know, maintaining sound mental health. There are parasites in our body.
Yes.
Sometimes those voices come from things like the Sister Empress brought up, what our antennas are tuned into, right? We receive things from our environment, from what we consume, and not just what we put in our mouth, what our eyes are seeing as well. So there are a lot of factors that go into why some people might be hearing negative things or choosing to act on those negative things that they hear, right? So sometimes it might be unhealthy gut bacteria. It could be you stayed up later than you were supposed to, and you tuned into a horror movie that is not meant to be any good for anyone. These things are instilling fear in people, and people choose to go ahead and tune into them, which is, you know, their choice. But there are a lot of contributing factors.
Facts. I have a question. As far as like Bible scripture, you know, what do y'all feel the connection, or if there's a connection between a reprobate mind and mental health?
There's a scripture that says that's very easy. There's a scripture that says the sons of perdition chose their path. That's a reprobate mind. That means you have given yourself over to evil to basically have its way with you. It's almost like a point of no return.
Yeah.
Just to kind of speak to your point, Empress, because you said reprobate.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zacchaeus. You got something to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that means that there's people that are agnostic. They receive all type of they let people palm read their hands. There's people that I've met that are like, they call themselves believers, Christians, believe. I wish I was making this up. And they believe in numerology. They believe in numerology. They go to the numerologist. I had one person that was that said, hey, told me, my wife, hey, y'all not going to the numerologist? And I said, wait a minute. And I stopped and said, aren't you a believer? Why you going to that different entity? When you open these different portals, you allow them to take control of your mind. And when you allow them to take control of your mind, you're just giving yourself up to these different entities. And not knowing that God should be your only entity and God should be your only substance that you run to, but yet you want to get answers and about your life, or about the psychic readers, numerologists, zodiac. You have your conscious people that solely concentrate on zodiac signs for their answers in life, and opens up you open your mind up to different portals, and guess what? When you do that, you open yourself up to different things that can happen, and you can't close these portals. You have to take down the Holy Spirit to close them for you. But because you open yourself up to these things now, now you're dealing with situations. Now you can't. Now you're trying to get answers for them, and you're more and more getting answers from people. You're more and more getting your circle is getting broad, because now you're circling with people. You're getting around people that don't serve God. Getting around people that enjoy substance abuse and enjoy these answers to their problems. Some people smoke their life away. Some people drink their life away, and then they want you to join them. And because you don't have a foundation, you don't have the. And if you don't have a foundation, what it says, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And these people, their foundation is not God, but yet they say they believe in God. There's that too. Yeah, I believe in God, but yet you run into a psychic, and yet you run to numerologists, but yet when you talk about your life, you base it on your zodiac signs, and then like, are you really following God, or you're just going to church? So it's a lot of that, and they don't understand that when you open these different portals, it draws them away from the truth, and that's a fact. Yeah.
Good point, Zacchaeus. Good point, man. Empress, you have anything to say? I know beyond.
So what is the solution? Like, how do we treat people? And you know what? It's not easy bringing that up to someone who's dealing with that neither, because if they not even in the knowing, they will argue down, like, or they'll deny it. So how do we even address people like that? What do we do?
Anyone want to answer it?
Yeah, I can. I would pray for them. You can, you'll pray for them, because you don't want to indulge in trying to explain to them and trying to get them to understand, because some people you try to explain to them, they don't matter. Even if you try to break it down to them, they'll argue you down. They don't want to understand you. And that's the power of God. You got to just leave them, pray for them, and just leave them. Don't waste it. Don't bring all the energy into trying to explain to them, trying to convince them, because when you're dealing with a spirit, you're dealing with wicked forces. The Bible says, wrestle not against flesh and blood, but evil forces and principalities. So when you deal with people like that are arguing down, they have all the answers for everything, and there's people that's mentally ill, they have the answer for. So you can't even argue with them. You just gotta keep a distance from them, and because you'll lose your mind by talking to them.
Yeah.
The solution, man. You know what I mean? It's an ongoing, because when these people, they get labels. Don't forget, they get labels. So
you'll go crazy by just engaging with them all the time.
These people, it doesn't matter where they go, they get that label put on them because a doctor probably, diagnosed them with schizophrenia or whatever it is. The doctor have that power. Say this what this person, this what the evaluation, and this what he see. So those people get labels, man. But I believe those people who are hearing the voices in mental, I think it's a very much spiritual, where these people need to get deliverance, and the doctor's not going to help them. So when they get the pill, it's a side effect where the pill you see when these people get pill, what happened?
They become a zombie.
Everything changed. Your body start getting deformed, because those demons is like reacting to the body medication. Because remember, a demon need a vessel, and if the vessel is not healthy, the demon couldn't live in there, but eventually that person will, transition him. But the demon will look for people to possess, man. And the thing is, mental illness or get misled for all type of, what I'm saying. I mean, like people who are possessed or getting labeled with all type of mental diagnosis, but that is not what they need. They need deliverance, because what it is, the doctor is going to describe the outer. Doctor don't know what's going inside. The doctor only going by what the person reaction is, right? So that fall underneath a certain category list. Okay, this person is this person is that, this person is this. So, oh yeah, for this person, he get this medication, for this, he get this medication. But I'm telling you, a lot of people who are suffering from mental illness, they're saying it's the voices. That's one thing they all have in common. They have the voices that are telling them to do something the opposite. And that is where doctor don't have no cure for that. What doctor have a cure for that? You think doctor have a cure for mental illness? You think they do? Most of the time when you see people get like comfort, it's outside of doctor help. Beside the doctor giving them the meds and all that, but beside of all of that, they have to find something to cope with it, because the medication is just covering up the symptom or the issues. It's not getting to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is mental illness. I believe it's all dynamic. I believe it's all dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's a 3-part body problem. The mind, the heart, and the gut get locked down into place. So when they give you the meds, it just make you docile. That person is no longer who they was prior
Yeah.
to.
Can you imagine someone in their right mind walking down the street naked and eat out a garbage can and just doing crazy things? You think that's person in their right mind doing that? No. They have to be. Come on. There's a lot of people that say crazy. You got to check. You got and again, man, you got to check some of the stories, because some of these people, they dip and dab, man. I'm telling you, some of these people dip and dab. They dip and dab, man. And the thing is, when you're around people who do those type of things, they affect you. Because people are dipping in things that are away from God, and if God and let me tell you something. People could put things in your people could put things in your food. I'm telling you, these things are scary, man. I am telling you. That's why you gotta be careful. Listen, man, you gotta pray, man. You gotta pray when you eat your food, because you don't know, because you could flip out in your head. I remember one a story. This guy was over here. This kid always, man, we grew up together. That kid, he went to Jamaica, came back. It wasn't the same no more. It wasn't the same no more, because they said he went out there, probably got into something, or nosy or whatever it is. When he came back to this country, he was in a loony house, out in the street, doing all crazy things. I'm telling you. So people could do things for you to flip out, man.
So I want to add.
Yeah.
So I want to add that there are substances that open that portal to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You remember that story years ago in Miami? It was a guy, he was on bath salts and they found him. When the cops got him, he was attacked the person. He was eating the guy's face.
Yeah.
That's a good example, right? That's a good example right there. One of, yeah.
Yeah, man, crazy.
LSD, acid, shrooms. People saying they seeing illusions and stuff. What you also hear is the native tribes in America, right? so-called Indians. I don't say that to be disrespectful, but the native tribes in America, right? They say that they have certain things that people will take, they'll eat it, and then they just go into like a state of out-of-body experience.
Hallucination.
Yep. That's another example. And that's cultural. And I'm not saying that to offend those who may be listening, but what I'm saying is that is something that we're talking about in terms of cultures, traditions, rituals that are in genealogies, chronologies, that also are portals to something that is outside of the human body, that gives access to the control that we're talking about here, that you're talking about, Mr. Wesley.
You know what, too? Okay, Charlemagne, the small capital G of God. Look what he did. You know what he did, right? You know that it's the same thing that Waco, Wasaki. Am I saying it right? The what?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, yes, ayahuasca. You know what the ayahuasca is, right? They go into a shaman, very dangerous. That practice is not legal in the United States, but they do it in California. You have to go in some type of woods. Listen, and when you talk to people, how you do it, it's like secret. It's a secret thing, and you got to pay thousands of dollars. And when you go in there, you experience this, 3 different dosage, and you speak. Who you speaking to? Who are you speaking to? I don't believe in that, man. That's some deep. These people open doors. That's what I'm telling you. And listen, when these people do these things, they get things given to them. So some people do things to be successful, trying to get a better job or make money. People, shortcuts, man. And soon after that, big contract, $200 million contract. Wow. Is that a coincidence? I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, the Bible says the Lord maketh rich with no sorrow. So when you see a lot of these, just to stick to that last point you made about these contracts and people making deals,
yeah,
there's something wrong when you have a situation where a guy, because this happened to Philip C. Hoffmore, the one who used to be in the Hunger Games. At the top of his success, they said that his unaliving was drugs induced. They said that he had a needle in his arm when they found him in the bathtub. And he was clean, by the way. He wasn't dirty. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So obviously there was something going on. He was battling some things. Kind of want to get into the let me just say this. He was also about man action.
No.
That guy, so that that's spiritual. So yeah, when you connect the dots, it tells a story.
Yeah. You have anything to say, Mr. Iron? You finished, Mr.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You finished? Or
no, I was gonna say, is anybody familiar with the DSM-5?
DSM-5?
Yeah, the DSM-5. Is anybody familiar with the DSM-5?
No, I haven't heard of it myself.
Explain
it. Yeah. So the DSM-5 is a study. You could actually get it as a book, right? It's the Diagnostics of Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The 5th edition was posted in 2013. And the study is listing over 400 mental disorders.
Wow.
Over 400. And guess what?
Yeah.
Do you know that something as simple as bipolarism is a mental disorder?
Wow.
Schizophrenia, we know that. Boom. That's kind of easy for us to identify, right?
Yeah.
But bipolarism, and check this out, even more simple, anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
is also in the DSM-5. Narcissism is in the DSM-5 because narcissism shares a lot of characteristics of a sociopath. So you know what's going on, and I guess this is kind of where I'm going to get into the conversation of what I talked about earlier. Relationships, romantic relationships. There are things that are happening in romantic relationships that people are questioning and saying, man, what is wrong with that person? They just got bad character. That may be true, but a lot of times there's missed things, misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all, where they can have actual mental disorders. You know,
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier sexual promiscuity. That is a mental disorder. It is. You know, and who typically is big on that? People who are bipolar are big on sexual promiscuity. Oh yeah.
Why?
And
Because
this
they
is
think
why.
it's normal.
Yes. And also one of the things that I hate that's promoted in the world, but hey, the world is the world. The kingdom is the kingdom. We know it's different, right? The world is under a different authority than the kingdom is. But I don't like when people that are so-called part of the kingdom try to push this on the kingdom, and they're really in the world. And these are the things we got to speak against. When you hear ladies say you need to go on your hoe phase, that's a mental disorder. Any woman who tells a woman that is mentally ill. Let's talk about the man. Any man who says, hey man, you need to build up your body count and get more bodies under your belt, mentally ill.
So that fall under the mental. Wow. I didn't. Yeah. Looking at it. Yeah. I see your point. Looking like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, there were things that were taken out of the DSM 5 years ago. I don't want to get your channel banned, so I won't say it. But there's a lifestyle that used to be in the old DSM 5s that they removed because that group said, how dare you call that a mental disorder? That's what I'll say.
But hear this now. Sorry, Empress. If that's what I think, but I have two. Okay, because man, listen. According to what's going on now, listen, especially with the files being released and all those things, there is a group of people who they're into that. You know what I mean? Those people, they're into that, man. And this type of lifestyle goes deep. And you talking about principalities too, because like you said, principality is high, right? It don't stay down, it's high. So you have to have people, like they say, in high places, high, statue to keep up that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I look at it. And that's why you always see those people, their fund is like unlimited, It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it just don't stop there neither. Bestiality is in there too.
So a lot of things that come on mental health, man, it's affecting more and more the younger generation. So that means we as adults, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, because if the kids are just following what we do on the same cycle, we're not learning nothing new. So what we have to do now to trying to change that? What solution we think that can we come up with and say, this could actually work in society? It's not we're not getting millions of views. Nobody probably, but we could make a difference, because guess what? We could tell one person, that person, another person, you know what I mean? How can we come up today before we leave and say, listen, what kind of strategy can we come up with to help mental illness to be better treated? Away from the religious part of it, we know that, but away from, how can we say, okay, we know there's lack of psychiatrists, lack of, the help, we know that, but how can we come together and listen, something to be done?
I don't know if it's a one size fits all type of thing. There are things that we mentioned today that could be very useful from, seeking help in a professional setting
Yeah,
to going into nature. Brother Fifth brought up something, and it made me think about somebody in regards to Mike Tyson. There was a time when we can say that he was downright out of his mind, right?
yeah,
He took an approach to take plant medicine. Now, I know everyone is not in agreement with ayahuasca or psilocybin, but these things had it would seem, a positive effect on them. So, like I said, it's not a one size fits all for everybody. But there are things that are taken within moderation that can have a positive effect on people. And that's my piece.
Yeah, I agree with him. Anything
yeah,
in moderation is good.
yeah,
I think just being honest with the children, because you said something about it's affecting more younger generation.
yeah,
I just think being more honest with them and laying it out and have giving them that space to speak about what they feeling. Therapy, yes. Talk therapy, yes. Somatic therapy, which is therapy for the body, releasing tension, stress, because you can clear the mind, but if your body is still holding on to that, it's just gonna come back. So, yeah.
yeah. That's a good point, and that's a good point. I am, because there is such thing as herbal medicine. You know what I'm saying? There is herbal medicine that you could actually take, and get some type of healing in your body. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. No, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people, especially people from the islands. You know what I mean? They like those remedy things. Nothing wrong with those remedy things. You know, nothing wrong with it. But like I said, under moderation, all under moderation. So how's everyone doing, man? How's everyone doing? I appreciate
Watch
everyone.
out.
We good, man.
I appreciate
Yeah.
everyone. Man. It's the first show, man. It's the first show. Hopefully, we get it. It run a little more smoother. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. But things start out but rough, but it's smooth out. Things will get better in the near future. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we continue these shows and talk about different topics. And I mean, anyone that have topics that we could speak about, let me know, man. We have a lot of different topics that we could speak about that relate
Definitely
to
will. Definitely will.
that relate to society, that
Yeah.
that especially when it comes down to everyday life, man. That's what I the panel will be on with if something happened today, right? Just like with Tank Davis, that's a mental issue right there.
Can you expound on that? I don't know what's going on with Tank.
With Tank Davis arrested, he's out on $8,000 bonds or whatever, but he have a problem with his hand touching females. It's more than one time.
Oh,
So, and he did say that he need counseling way before this. He's keep getting the same issue, putting hand on females. So he needs some counseling. He needs some guidance. So it don't have to be those things that I want to speak about, because those things affect us immediately.
definitely right away. Yeah.
Those are
Yes.
the things that he's struggling. He's aware, but he need the help. I mean, is he going to get the help? He get the help now because he don't have no other way to look. He needs, because he's the judge, and I believe the judge probably going, you know what, you haven't learned nothing.
Wow. Yes.
So you keep doing
Well,
the same thing over, don't know.
You know, I don't know if y'all want to get into it or you're about to end the stream, but earlier Beyonda mentioned addictions, and anything that's an addictive personality disorder is a mental illness. Because if you're addicted to food, that's mental. A lot of
Yes.
people
Yeah.
are addicted to food. 600-pound life is not a show for no reason,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. I know the show. Yeah.
But you have to find out why you're addicted to the food. There have to be a reason why.
Sometimes dramatic things happen in people's life. That's and they because I look at my wife used to like look at the show. And I know the show. Sometimes something dramatic happens in their life that shocked them for life, and then they the only way how they can get out of their depression and get out of their situation is through food. Food comforts them. So what they do is they indulge, and oh boy, they indulge. They indulge.
That's
Zacchaeus, I got
gluttony.
something. There you go, gluttony, and never being fulfilled, never being
Yeah.
satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
You can have gluttony of everything, and from an ingredient standpoint, IMI, as far as what you put in your body, sugar is addictive.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, Zacchaeus, let me go back to what you just said, because brother, me and you, man, we've been doing this for years, man. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
very easy for us to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When someone in a relationship, right, or maybe or maybe when you're not successful,
Yeah.
when you have many failures in life, you will go to the things that don't fail you,
Right. Absolutely.
and then that's where you get your satisfaction from, your validation from. Case in point, if you're in a
Mm-hmm.
bad relationship, bad marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you're being withheld something from
Mm-hmm.
your wife, from your husband, guess what you will do? You will go to something that won't tell you no.
Exactly.
One of the things
Yes.
on 600-pound life that's mentioned, but not mentioned, is that when someone withholds sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sex is pleasure, right?
Yes.
Eating good food is pleasure, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you're not getting sex from your wife, this is not all men, but if you're not getting sex from your wife, you will get that pleasure from food, and that food will be your sex.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Zach, here, speak to that.
That's a fact. That's because it's called the term called being fulfilled, right? If you are lacking in a certain situation, if you're lacking with your wife or you're lacking in your and something is lacking, but you don't know, but you don't want to, but she turns you down, she shoots you down, but it's lacking. You're definitely gonna indulge in something else. This is where the 600-pound life comes in because these people, when you listen to their testimonies, it's always something that happened to them, made them get into gluttony, eating food. Because let's say eating ice cream, eating potato chips, over salt, over sugary things make you feel good. It makes you feel you taste it. Ooh, you can't stop. You eat a potato chip, you're not gonna just eat one. You're gonna eat the whole bag, and it satisfies you because you're always yearning for something to fulfill that void that you're lacking in that situation that you're in. Maybe you're lacking that your wife is not giving you that love language that she's holding it back from you. For some part, you have issues, you have problems, and some people they go without it for months. But you know what they run to? The refrigerator. Or they spend all day, they swipe their credit cards and their debit cards on buying groceries in a supermarket and not even good food. Not even good food, junk food. Just to satisfy their cravings, to quench their cravings. And that's my 600-pound life. So it's definitely a mentally disorder, mental illness, this situation right there, for sure. Yeah.
And I got one last thing to add, my brother.
Mhm.
You're familiar with the term dopamine?
Yeah, I heard the word term dopamine. Yes. Have y'all
Dopa,
ever heard the term dopamine? I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
dopamine is the pleasure hormone. And when you want love, there's something called oxytocin,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So when you get a dopamine hit when you get high, you get a dopamine hit when you have a sexual release.
Mm,
And so oxytocin is something that is in all of us. It's not a bad thing, but it's the clinical part of it, right?
yeah.
It's a hormone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neutral transmitter. The love hormone. It's also called hypothalamus. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And that's a hormone that is very vital. Social bonding, trust, and reproduction. And so naturally, as humans, we want that with each other, especially with our romantic uh, partners, our husband and wife. A husband and wife is going to want that between each other. Now, the moment one of them cuts that off from you, it's like getting your arm cut off. Especially if you was in a marriage where you was getting sex on the daily, right? And then now your wife or husband, because husbands can cut off a wife too, and be like, no, we're not doing it. Nope. Now, to me, that's also abuse. And what people will try to do to come back from that abuse is, well, let me go what's going to give me pleasure. It could be stepping out, or it could be doing drugs, because it's that feeling that they seek and desire that they used to get from the other half. They don't get it no more. And then let's talk about the people who are single, who don't have anybody, right? I'm single, right? So beyond the talking about people being addicted to corn, now I have to say that word because the other word is a algorithm hit. Starts with the letter P, right? So we'll just say corn or prawn, but you know what I'm trying to say. Whether single or in a relationship, you get a dopamine hit from people being addicted to that and getting their pleasure from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like drugs. So when he talked about anything that's addictive personality, the food, the drugs, the sex, all of that, I'll land.
Let's go back to the point where they
Yeah,
say
that's some
about
great points, man. And this has been a
the
great
food
discussion.
Yeah.
I am going to have to make my way out. I got
All
some
right,
family
man.
over right now, so
Yeah.
thanks for having me on. I look
All right,
forward
man.
to
Nice meeting you.
watching the
Yes,
playback of the
definitely.
game with y'all
All right, man.
again. Y'all can tap
Yeah.
into what I got going on with the Well-Beings podcast as well. We tackle issues like this. And thanks for having me
Oh,
on Yard Chat. Peace,
All
y'all.
right. All right, man. Appreciate
peace.
it. Enough love. Also, when he was talking about the part about, the food part, also you have people who are enablers, people that keep you in the dungeon. Because you ever notice those people who eat, they have people they have enablers.
Mm-hmm.
They have people, oh, I feel bad, and they know what they're doing is dangerous, but they call it
Mm-hmm.
enablers. Because nobody get up to 600 pounds by themselves. Trust me.
No. They have enablers. Yeah.
Enablers. So someone, I see them on and it's a mental issue. You see them online.
Mm-hmm.
They get breakfast in the morning. Someone come give them dinner.
Yes. Huge plates of dinner. Huge plates.
Soon as breakfast over, they worry about lunch. So they know some. So these people
Yeah.
are trapped in a house because they dependent on someone else to bring them food.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, for those people who are enablers, they have mental issue too. Because
Yes.
if you can't see what you're doing is wrong, that you're giving the next person this food, there's no way in the world you should have 5 biscuit, 10 biscuit for lunch, for breakfast. It's
Pancakes up to the roof.
it
Yeah.
is crazy what I'm seeing. But half of those people are enablers.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But again, man, people have to make choices too, man. Don't forget, one have to make choice. People have to make choice, and whatever choice they make, that's on them. It might not the choice you want them to make, but they're making choices. So, you know what I mean? Like one choose to eat. Gluttony, we know that's a sin, right? So that person is a slave master to that.
Yes.
Until that person said, wait a minute here, I need to change my behavior. I need to carve that gluttonous spirit, because there's no way in the world I should be eating 10 pancakes every morning.
10 pancakes in the morning, yeah.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be eating like that. So we do things on a moderation, but when someone is overdoing it and you enable them, that's not it's not good, because you're telling that person that you don't care. And then a lot of things, you know, with the mental have to do with a lot of mental feelings. Some of these people don't feel love. Some of these people feel like no one is there for them. Who cares? No, you know, they're not loved. No one is there. So they don't care. Themselves, they don't care about themselves. They don't care about themselves much for someone else. So it's mental illness have to do with the state of mind, how a person feels, man. And a lot of people, you know, will put on a front and say, yeah, it's good, and it's not good, you know, because mental illness affects everyone. Everyone knows someone that knows someone or someone. You know, I land.
Zacchaeus, and then I want to get to Mr. Wesley. Zacchaeus, you remember back in 2017, the first season of Mrs. Z and Fifth, we did an episode called The Supermarket of Death.
Oh, yes, definitely. I remember that. Yeah, yes.
So we talked about food deserts in our communities, right?
Yes.
Right? Low income communities, high police communities, right?
Yes.
They have a connection. We talked about overly processed foods, right?
Yes.
But we also talked about the lack of access, right?
Yes.
To healthy foods, right?
Yeah.
Right? In order to be a glutton for food, you have to have access to the food, right? This is Mr. Wesley's point.
Yes.
Food is not free. Food costs money. Right? So we can say, well, you know, it's possible they're probably on food stamps, disability, and that's how they're paying for their food, right?
Yes.
It's possible to go that route, right?
Oh, yes.
But what I noticed is on 600-Pound Life, the foods that they overindulge on is not a salad.
Nope.
It's not apples and oranges and grapes.
Nope.
It's the most unhealthiest food known to man. Primarily fast food.
Yes, absolutely.
Zacchaeus, what is in fast food?
You got high cholesterol, high sodium, extremely high sodium, high
Sugar.
cholesterol, fat, like what's the processed
saturated fat?
Saturated fat. It's all processed. It's not even natural. It's all processed.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what it is.
All processed, nothing natural.
And it's
cheap too.
Right. Thank you. That's where I was going. And it's cheap too. Access. And it's what? Quick.
Yes.
You don't have to cook it. It's already cooked.
It's already cooked, yeah.
Right? Also,
that's right.
Advertising and marketing. Zacchaeus, you know where we from.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
You got billboards, Colt 45, billboards, Newports, Marlboros, billboards, McDonald's, Burger King, billboards. Pushed heavily in our communities.
Heavily, the liquor stores, heavily.
Yeah. So who's doing that? Who's contributing to that? Those things in our community. Even those things are there, people are making choices to do it.
Yes, it's choices. Yes, absolutely.
Listen, you could have temptation, but you don't have to fall to the temptation.
Right.
So listen, man.
Well,
I
Mr.
understand
Wesley,
your point. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but let me. So, Mr. Wesley, are you familiar with the lab rat experiment? I know where you're going, but I just wanted for the audience.
I kind of have some idea what it is about.
Okay, so what happens is this, and yes, you do have a choice, but there is a such thing as this, right? They took a lab rat, 2 lab rats. They put in one cage like something healthy, and in the other cage they put food that's unhealthy, right? They ate at the same time, same routine, but the lab rat who ate the lettuce, the grape, was different from the lab rat who ate peanut butter and all the other unhealthy stuff, right? And so there are things that are induced, but I will say this though. I do believe this is what I honestly believe. If you were to replace some of the heavily processed supermarkets with natural supermarkets, I honestly think that we would see a difference. And it may not be in the generation that's already lost their minds and already unhealthy, but in the next generation. And the reason why I'm saying it is because there's a study right now showing that in this generation that we have right now, where some of these families who have moved out of food deserts, because food deserts is a real thing, and they moved into neighborhoods where there's not a food desert, those kids are healthier than their parents.
Yeah.
I'll land my plane.
Why you think they're healthier than their parents?
Because if you lived in a community where you have a McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King on every corner, and now we live in a community where there's a Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, Salada, the culture of that community is different from the culture of the food desert community.
So whose fault is that?
So when we're talking about yeah, go ahead, Zacchaeus. Go ahead. I don't want to dominate the.
Oh no. Whose fault is that? Is well, it's choices too. But I think some people you know what it is that some people is eat chips, bag of potato chips, the taste of McDonald's, the taste of these salty foods, and it's when you get hungry, it's they lower you in, and instead of taking because it's right there, it's easy access because it's right there, and you gotta wait, you gotta cross the town just to go to get a healthy salad. But there's a McDonald's right there across the street. That's that. All you gotta do is step across the street and you're right there. Instead of you going, I believe in go home and cook. I don't want to. I train my kids not to do that. They said this. I got food I cooked already. That's why I cook almost every day because um I want them to. It's choices that we make. Yeah, I could cheat. I could buy a McDonald's for like $13. What French fries and Big Mac and all these things. You could buy it, but it's a choice that you make. Some people they're lazy, so they made a choice to buy the McDonald's fast food instead. But some people like myself, I say, you know what? We got to make better choices for you, not only for your spiritual man, but for your. How about we got to take care of our temple too? So I got to take care of my body. So listen, I'm gonna go home and cook where I know what food I'm putting in my body instead of the processed foods. So I stick with that. It's all about your, I guess, choices you make. That's what I say.
You know what I mean? It's like when it comes down to like the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have choices where we spend our money.
Yeah.
But if we know that something is not good, we know those red juice, those purple juice, those chips, we know it's not healthy. We know. We know. Trust me, we know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you're giving your kids that every morning, here, go to school, get that, get that, get that, what do you think is going to happen? No one, and listen, it might not be options. It might not be options, but you, as a consumer, you have to be careful. You have to say, wait a minute, I know that's not good, so I can't give my child that. I have to. It does anything away from that. You have to make some way. Because if you know the
Mm-hmm.
long run is going to be detrimental to you, and you're still doing it, you can't blame no one because you decide to make a choice. It's like if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know, that's different. That's different. If you're ignorant of, don't have knowledge of, but if you know, and that's the thing, a lot of us in our community, we know because we see what it's doing to the community. We see what the drugstore, the liquor store doing to the community. We see every corner, we see it, but people still going there to buy their liquor.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Mm-hmm.
making choices. Is it a good or bad choices? That's on them. That's on them. But they gotta
Mm-hmm.
understand when the consequences come back now. You can't say, well, this was all in our community, but no one is forcing you to shop there. Just like nobody forced anyone to shop at Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Walmart. You choose to go there. You can't boycott something. It's just like with that Target crap. I know it wasn't going to work. It's nonsense. It's a propaganda because you telling a person to intervene in their personal choice.
Hmm.
Tell me I can't go to Target shop, but Target have what I need. You tell me don't go there. I'm going to the shop.
What Target boycott? I'm not. I'm
Oh,
lost.
Jamal Bryant.
With the DI crap, and then praying for stuff that's not even, you know what I'm saying. So it's what it is. What it is, I see what's going on in the community. Why we suffer so much mentally because we don't get the knowledge. The people who have the knowledge do not share it and give it to the people in our community. They keep it for themselves. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem in the community. So you mean to tell me all these people, Al Sharpton, Pastor Jamel Brown, all going for the same thing. Why you can't build community center? These people have the money, but guess what? They don't care about what's in the community if it's not affected. See, black people don't care if it don't affect them immediately. White people do. That's the big difference. White people would take the time out. No, we want this, but as long as it's not affecting me, I don't care. It's him over there. It's
Oh no.
it's an attitude that we have that we we don't like each other to be
Crabs in the barrel.
to be prosperous. Someone climbing up this one. No one want to see that. Even the rappers, they don't want to have something. No, back to the neighborhood. No, because they know how those people are. They're not going to do anything good for you. They're going to try to set you up. They're going to try to pull you down, and it's not going to end good. But when you look at it, it's the choices people are making. That's what I look at it. I might not be right, but a lot of things come down to people' personal choice. You cannot tell a person how to raise their child. If you know, like one day I went to the store, I said to the kid, I said, why? I said, it's early morning, you having Pepsi and chips? Early, not even 7:30 in the morning.
Oh my
And
goodness.
up to school, and you having potato chips and soda. I tell the kid, why you doing that? He looked at me like I was crazy. And you mean to tell me he don't know that's wrong? He don't tell me a soda and chips in the morning for lunch, for breakfast, that's good. I just believe we waste so many good things in our community. These people fighting for the same reason, but everybody have different group called everyone want the clout. And nothing get done. Do you see when other ethnic background get things done? One person represent. But I gotta form my own group. Oh, I gotta form my own group. And
Oh
nothing get.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 Oh yeah.
That's the problem I have. That's the truth. That's the problem we have in our community. No one want to help until it's too late.
You know, this week I'm gonna bring this up to this week I did because it's Black History Month. I did a video on Claudette Cloven and Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And I remember that's the only time I see At one time and point, I seen black people come together around that time in 1955 when they had the bus boycott, lasted for a whole year. And I said to myself, I'm like, man, if we just get together, it was 40,000 residents of Montgomery at that time that got together. And I said, man, if we could get together in numbers that, you know what changes that we can make if we get together and boycott certain things, boycott certain foods. The same way how they boycott, Dr. King got together with NAACP to boycott the bus the buses in Montgomery. Same way we can do the same thing today and boycott certain things. But for some apparent reason, we're not in unison no more. So
Do we attack the mental illness in our community? No.
no, we don't. No, we don't.
Do you hear Pastor Jamel Brown talking about those things? Do
Nope.
you hear about TDJ talking about those things?
Nope.
They're busy having people come to church twerking.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. See, if we want to change, we all got to look in the mirror and say, how can we change mental illness? Because the people who know that changes need to be made, they are not doing nothing about it.
They're not even talking about it.
No, they're not. They're not.
So I have a different approach to what y'all are saying. I have a more grassroots approach. And Zacchaeus, you understand this because you know me, right? So no, we're not going to hear from TD Jakes and Jamal Bryant. We're not going to hear from mega church pastors. But the responsibility would be the small churches in the communities that actually do have a heart for their community. And so maybe the church on James Street may be doing this. The church on Phillip Street may be doing this. And the church on SoCal Boulevard may be doing it. They're not going to make the news. They won't make the news. Who will make the news is who we just mentioned. And then they want to say that they speak for us. Jamal Bryant and TD Jakes does not speak for us, nor do they take the authority to try to. I don't know about Jamal. Maybe he tries to, but at least with TD. So these mega church pastors are not who I'm looking at to make any significant changes or fixes, although they should because they have the platform. But the thing is, it's going to be on a grassroots level. That's on a small level. And most effective movements, and Zacchaeus, you know, because you just said it, they primarily are grassroots first. Before anything even happens, the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing in that situation until it actually makes an impact. And then people know about it. And then you get the background on it. They say, oh, we've been doing this for 15 years. 15 years? How come I didn't know about it? You know, there's a organization in Detroit called New Era. Does anybody know who New Era is?
I know who that. Yeah, I know who they are. Yeah,
I know you do because we did a show about this.
Yeah.
You know how we do because me and you are grassroots.
Yeah.
Right? So they've led a movement to get the attention of what was happening in Flint, Michigan with the water. They have donated bottles of waters. They have gotten with organizations. They have gotten plumbers, contractors, black people, went in these homes personally, and said, we're going to fix. Contact me to let me know if you need help with the stuff. They were able to get attention from basketball players. You know that some of those basketball players who are helping out in the league right now? You know how it is.
Yeah.
Because when you're really for your people, it ain't got to be public. You could do it in secret, right? But once that secret is out, the powers that be, they coming for you. And we know that because every grassroots movement in Black American history has been co-opted somehow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zacchaeus.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, that's what it is, man. I mean, you see, when we get together and when we come together, how people we're not all together. And when you like New Era, like it's called New Era. New Era, they were like a group that I found out about like few years ago. A few black men that said, listen, if we cannot wait for these politicians to make changes, we gotta make the changes. And we see how our communities are crumbling. We see how our communities mental health is hidden, it's like swept under the rug. And it's true that Mr. Wesley said TD Jakes and these mega churches are they're not good. They I mean they're gonna give you a good sermon, but they're not gonna talk about the real issue. The real issue is that mental health population has exploded for the past few years. Exploded to the past few years, but everything affects mental health. What you eat, what you're around, what you're around in, economics, your money, everything, foods, a lot of things that affect mental health. But if we don't get up, stand up like New Era and address it, then it's just talking, and it's going to be who's affected more by mental health? Our community, because of what's put into our community, what's there in our community. So that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe your point of views. You know what I mean? It's good point of views.
Mhm.
Good point of views, man. We just here trying to come up with some solution and see how, because the way I look at it, what they're doing is not working.
No.
We can all agree to that. What they're doing is not working. So I think it's time for people in mental health to take a different approach.
Yeah.
We need to take a different approach because,
Mhm.
especially in our community, man, we need to take a different approach because it affects us more because you see us more out there suffering from it. People
Mhm.
dying on trains.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's how serious it's getting. So we need to address it because nobody's going to
Mhm.
address it. We need to exercise also a lot of helping each other in the community instead
Mhm.
of tearing each other down, instead of focusing on
Yeah.
and not working together as a unit to build. And
Yeah.
see, how can one get healed when people are not together? That's the issue in our community. We don't we together, but we're not together. But when we really need to come together, like this mental issue is affecting us. If it's affecting us so much that it's offset the whole black culture population, no one's going to help. We need to help. We don't want to get help when we know we have some issues. We don't go to get the proper help. We deal with it, and or if you know someone have issue, you don't try to help. It's just like if you know this person have an eating habit, they have to be an enabler. Somebody bring that person the food. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that we could do, but or we're not doing it because I could only say what today present society. We know what it is. We can't deny it. That's why I can tell people, look at society. What do you mean? Look at society. Then they say, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Because if society was all good and good, we would be in a better situation. Black culture, black people would be in a better place. But overall, we are not. You can't look at the people who in Hollywood, the entertainers, you can't look at them because they are the few. You got to look at the whole culture at the black state is not in a good place. It's not. Anyone sit here and tell me that the black culture is in a good place is lying to themselves.
Mm-mm. It's not. No.
And that's
Yeah.
reality.
That's reality. Yep. Yeah, man. So, yep.
Empress, you
Yeah,
Uh,
we've
there?
been on for what? Hour
Yeah,
and
Empress.
Yeah, I
2 hours
mean,
and 23 minutes. We have 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
2 hours and 30 minutes. We're on for
Okay.
two. I know.
So can I say something on a? Can I say something? My bad. Go ahead, Mr. Wesley. I was gonna try to like.
No, go ahead. I'm not saying no.
Okay. So I kind of want to get into this, because there is a silver lining in this. Um, when we talk about mental illness and mental health. I will say that this generation is prioritizing. I'm talking about in the Black community specifically. They are prioritizing mental health a little better than the generation that I'm in right now. So the millennials, and it's going to be a while because all of them are just now turning 20. So we're still collecting data on them. So we have to really be mindful of that. My generation, you got data on us because we've been adults for 20 years or more, right? But the generation that's before us, some of them are just now turning 20, 18, 19, 20. So we'll see. But at their youth, they are prioritizing attacking mental health better than generations before.
Okay,
so Zacchaeus, that's your kids.
Yeah.
That's your kids. So that's your daughter age.
Yeah.
And then your son is in the bottom half of that, right? Because
Yeah.
he's not an adult yet, but he's a late teen, right?
Late teen, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but they're having discussions early. I will say that there are more programs that are promoting and existing, and we could take that through many ways. There's policy, there's certain community organizations that are getting together and saying, you know what, this is something that we need to address that we haven't addressed. And guess what? This is across all cultures, but we're speaking to Black people in America right now. And they're prioritizing it. So we shall see. Shall see. Maybe we'll get some readings on them in the next 10 years and to see what's actually happening. Also, more Black people are going into the medical health field than ever before, as far as getting their doctor degrees and stuff. They're going more into like psychology, more into physical doctors, brain, neurological. They're getting more into that field, and that was a field that we was lacking for a very long time. Because a lot of our doctors that we go to don't look like us, and that's health, physical health, and mental health. And we had and I apologize, Mr. Yard, because me and Zacchaeus actually know someone that we've had on our show who was a doctor, both the physical and the mental, and she would have been great on the show. That's Dr. Nicole. Remember Zacchaeus? We had on
I remember.
podcast?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And we interviewed her, even though the topic wasn't about that, but because of what she was into, I let her have the floor, and we talked about what she's into for 30 minutes. Right? And her expertise would have been very much needed, and I forgot all about that, but that's neither here nor there. But maybe we'll have her later on. But she would have been perfect for this topic because she's someone who saw things when she was young and said, I need to be the change that I want to see. And that's Mr. Wesley's point.
Yes.
So when we're raising our youth, we have to keep in mind that they're going to be the ones to address it. It's not us. I'm sorry, but it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't have, sadly, when you get a certain age, and this is even biblical too, it'll get to a point where you don't have their ear anymore. They don't want to hear you because they think you're out of touch, you're outdated. But guess what? For the ones that we can affect, the youth, they're going to be the ones we got to pass the torch to them, right? Moses, Joshua, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I may not get to the promised land, but I'm going to train you so that you can get there.
Right, yes.
We understand the importance of passing the torch. And there are things that we may not see in our lifetime. But on our way out, what is our legacy going to say?
Right.
Did we make the effort? Did we get some disciples under us that can actually help this and change this and fix this?
Yes.
That's my final thoughts. I land. I'm you.
Mhm.
All right, man. Zacharias, have anything to say? Cause we're gonna, you know.
I was going to say this was a great topic to talk about, something informative. I hope people do listen, get insights, and on this topic because it's something that needed to be addressed. So thank you so much for having us on the show, me and Fifth, and thank you for having us. Thank you for having this show. It was a great show. Thank you so much.
We're looking forward, man. Looking forward, man. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks, I get, still working on it, man. It's still not, still working on it.
Hmm.
I'll let you guys know when the next one be because I still have some other things to do, man. But so far,
Okay.
I mean, it's good so far. I'm learning the StreamYard, so it's all good. But thanks everyone for coming on. Empress, you have anything to say?
It definitely was a good show. So thank you for having me. And for
Yeah,
everyone who showed up, shout out to y'all.
Oh,
and
thank you. Nice
people
seeing
text
you. Yes, sure.
somebody hit me up and said this, but I'm like, man, it's too late. It's like, next time. So whoever didn't come on, those people, they're probably gonna come on next time, unless if they.
Yeah.
I see how it goes. I see how it goes. But I thank you guys, man. Thank everyone. Make sure guys press like, share, subscribe to the platform. Appreciate everyone that's listening, watching. And Beyonder, man, thank you for coming on, Beyonder. And I am. Thank you for coming on. Thanks everyone. Miss Newsroom, Miss B, thank you for coming on. Zacharias.
Yes. Thank you for having us. Yes.
Did I forget anyone? I hope I didn't forget anyone. You know what I mean? Thank you everyone for coming on. Guys, I am tired, man, and I still got some things to do, but it is what it is. Super Bowl in the next hour, guys. Go watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we can.
Empress,
All
I
right,
love
man.
you, Empress.
Yes.
All right.
Bye. Later,
All right.
guys.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
guys.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
All right, Mr. Yard, Mr. Wesley. All right.
All right, man.
Hey, Fifth. Take care, y'all.
All right, Zach.